Okay everyone, in this part we are going to learn about something called flex and grid in CSS. Okay, so to understand that we are going to make a bottom menu. So suppose we have a nav, okay, and inside that nav we are going to have some icons. By the way, for icons I'm using remix icon, which you can easily find if you will Google. So I will just copy paste three icons. So we have one home and one for setting and one for bookmark. Let's keep setting one at last. Okay, so okay, here we go. Now we will go in CSS and give it some basic style. So I'm going to increase the font size so that we can increase the icon size also. 24 pixel, let's make it even bigger. 36 pixels. Okay, looking awesome. Now we can give it a background of black and foreground color of white, which is #FFF. Okay, and by the way, if you ever want to remove this little bit margin which is here or here, you can do it by removing the margin of body, or you can use asterisk selector to remove the margin of everything. So I'm just going to use asterisk selector. Okay, and then I'm going to say margin 0 and padding 0. So now we don't have that weird padding going on. Okay, so in last video we learned about positions, so we will use that. We will say position fixed to this one, and we will say bottom 0 to make it at the bottom, and I can say width 100%. Okay, we can also give it a height. Let's give it a height of 70 pixel. Okay, so looking awesome. Okay, now we want these three items to be perfectly aligned according to this parent here. So our parent is this nav element, okay, and this is the child. We have three child. So the nav element, we can declare it to flex. So we will go and say display flex. Okay, as soon as we do that, you see some changes here in the gaps. We have some gaps. Okay, so we will say display flex. Okay, so to arrange that, we can use justify content, and then we have some options like a space around, a space between, a space evenly. So let's go with a space between. So as soon as we do a space between, it's going to take all the remaining space between the elements. So all the space here and then all the space here. So but this is organizing thing in x-axis. Like say I want to center things in this axis, in y-axis. To alter y-axis, we can use something called align items. So we can say align items and then center. So it's now centering things from y-axis, and this is managing things from x-axis. So even if we resize the window, you will see it's always going to give this all the remaining space between these items. So if we say a space around instead of a space between, so let's see the difference. Space around, so it's going to evenly distribute a space around the things. Even if we scale the window, it's still looking pretty good. So we have more properties, like say we can also say center here. So if we will say center, it's going to center from x-axis and then from y-axis also. So this is our x-axis, justify content, and this is our basically y-axis. So I will go with a space around, or space evenly is also somewhat same. So you guys have seen Flexbox is really awesome when it comes to arranging things, and when we don't know how much margin or padding we should leave, especially in those cases. It's really an awesome technique to make things responsive. Now we are going to see something called flex direction. So we have something flex direction, and by default it's row. We can do it in column as well. So if we say flex direction column, it is going to go in this axis. So as you can see, our height is too less, so we can say 200 pixel. Okay, so if we remove this 2 property here, so by default it's here, and if we want to make this thing here in the center from horizontal center, for horizontal center we are going to use align item. So if I will go and say align items center, it's going to horizontally center the stuff, because we have set the direction to column. And we can again say a space between, a space around also. So we can say justify content, and then I can say a space between. So now all elements have a space in between, and then again we can say a space around, a space evenly. Okay, so this is all about flex. So now we are going to see what grid is. So for that I'm going to remove everything, and then I'm going to take a container. Okay, so this is a container, and we are going to have some items. So we have, like, say item into tree, so we have 3 items. Okay, now what we can do is we can go in our CSS and we can remove this nav thing. Okay, so now we can target our container, and before doing that I'm going to target our item. So I'm going to give it a background color of red, and then height of 100 pixel and width of 100 pixel as well. By the way, it's item. Okay, so all our item is red now, so we can do 1 2 3. Okay, we can say item 1, item 2, then item 3, and again we need to give it a dot. Okay, so now we can separately say item 2 background color blue, item 3 background color green. Okay, so we have 3 boxes now. One is red, one is blue, and one is green. Now in our container we are going to say display grid, and nothing is going to happen. So now we are going to say grid template columns, and we can write column width. So first column is 100 pixel, nothing is going to happen. Second column is also 100 pixel. So now we have 2 by 2 grid of 100 pixel, and third column is also 100 pixel. So now we have 3 columns in our grid. So that's why all our items are. By the way, instead of 100 pixel we can use some unit called FR, and FR basically means all the remaining space. So we can do it in a shortcut way. We can type repeat, and then we are going to say how many times to repeat. Like, say we want to repeat it 3 times, and then I can say 100 pixel. It's basically the same, 3 columns of 100 pixel. So instead of 100 pixel I can say 1 FR. So it's going to say okay, I'm going to make this layout of 3 columns, exactly 3 columns. So I'm not going to go too deep into the grid just now. That's because it's a beginner friendly course. Also, it's a quick course. So thank you so much for watching. See ya in the next one.